Hi there. Well, here we go. And we're up to module 4, how to influence people and outperform the competition. When we talk about outperforming the competition, what we're really talking about is just getting better from our own point of view. So it's not a matter of focusing on the competition, it's a matter of focusing on us. Where are the areas that we can continue to improve on? And if we continue to do that, I have no doubts that you will outperform the competition. So welcome to module 4. Back in the 1930s, 1940s, Dale Carnegie wrote this book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's probably one of the best sales books ever written. I try to read it at least once every 12 months. Yes, the stories are all dated. I mean, he even talks about Al Capone in these books and various other people. But that said, the simple ideas and simple strategies are really at the heart of what selling is all about, because selling is really about influencing people, getting them to move in a certain direction. And it's not about convincing them to do something that they don't want to do. It's about persuading them or influencing them to do something that perhaps they otherwise wouldn't have done had you not come along. And of course, this is all done morally and legally and ethically. But if you get a chance to read this book, I would grab a copy. I mean, you can download free PDF copies of it now. You can still buy the book for 20 odd dollars. You can get it on your tablet. But I have a few copies of this book, and I think it's worthwhile having in your library. If you had to write or had to list, say, the top 10 sales books, best sales books ever written, this would certainly be in there. It'd be up in those first 1, 2, 3 books. So a lot of what we talk about in this course stems from Dale Carnegie. His ideas, his basic ideas on how to structure sales and sales interviews. So if you get a chance, have a look at that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. The keys to module 4, and as you can see, there's a few of them there. We start off talking about what we call the contrast principle. And this is a fairly humorous look from a young lass by the name of Louise. And she's talking to her mum and dad about a situation. And I won't spoil it for you, but it's about putting things in perspective, particularly in sales. And we call that the contrast principle. We talk about if we're going to influence people, then we need to understand where they're coming from. And there are a lot of ideas here. We just try and take the best ideas and make them practical. We have what we call the 4 phases of resistance. This is a process people tend to go through, and there's an example. We walk you through an example of a person being sold some life insurance and how they go through these 4 phases of resistance: reactance, distrust, scrutiny, and finally inertia. And it's interesting because, frankly, number 4 is the thing that holds us all back. We can decide that this something might be the best thing that we should be doing, but for some reason or other, we don't do it. We get into the let's just leave it all, or let's think about it, all of that type of thing. Inertia holds so many ideas back. So we'll have a look at that. There are some magic words in selling, and I'm going to share pretty much all of them with you as time goes on. One of the bonus books includes a list of the magic words, but if is a really good word to start to introduce into your vocabulary. Because once you start to put the word if into a sentence, you can almost take the person in front of you out of the equation. You can do more hypotheticals. And you'll see there are examples in there, but the use of the word if is very, very clever in terms of how we can structure conversations with people. We talk about thoughtfulness. We're talking professional selling here. And really, we have to be thoughtful. We have to be mindful. We have to be polite. It's all about, getting to a stage where people like us, people trust us, and people respect us. you think about when you buy something from somebody, those things need to be in place. Now, you don't generally buy things from people that you don't like. You need to trust them, and there needs to be some mutual respect there. If that's not happening, then nothing happens. Somebody walks away and they don't feel so good. People do things for their reasons, not ours. We'd like to think we can motivate people to do things, but essentially, at the end of the day, they do things for their reasons. And that said, people will often do what you expect them to do. There's examples of that. So this is a little bit of a conundrum when it comes to selling. So we need to be a bit of a psychologist here in selling. It is largely, to some extent, about the psychology of selling. Treat people like they already have the virtue you're looking for. So now, if you have an expectation about people, it generally comes true. So if you go into a sales situation thinking, for example, well, I'm probably not going to make this sale because this person is XYZ, then that's probably what's going to happen. So it is really about getting a mindset around positivity and looking for positive outcomes. You have to always be polite, patient and persistent, and you'll see examples of that. There's a little story from me about, I should have worn my jeans. And this was just basically an example of not being unpolite. It was just a matter of respect and a fleeting moment where perhaps I should have done something a little different to what I did. And you'll see that example. And I'm sure you've been through similar examples yourself. We talk about thank you before and after the event. Value is not about value add. I'm not a big fan of this idea of value add. I'm a fan of value at the beginning, through, and at the end. So value really starts all the way through the process. I know we often talk about we tend to give away things. We spend time with people and perhaps, we give our time freely. But let me say to you, I've always done that all my life. And I think it pays off. Well, I know it pays off. It pays off in the long run. There may be some individuals that take advantage of that, but at the end of the day, you will feel better. You will know that you have done the right thing. Make people feel good about their efforts, and I'll keep on doing. In other words, this is about recognizing good behavior. We talk about empathy. You introduce a concept called the 310s, and I really like this idea. It's about when you buy something from anybody, let's say you're buying a brand new motor vehicle, and you need to be on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is awful and 10 is awesome. You need to be closer to the 10 mark in 3 areas. And the three areas are firstly on the product. So let's say you're buying a new Mazda or whatever you're buying, and you need to be cool with the product. So, I'm 8, 9, 10 on the car. Love the car. You also need to be closer to a 10 on the person that you're buying it from. So you need to know that this person is doing the right thing. They have got your best interests at heart. It's not just about the commish for them. And finally, you need to be certain about the company. In other words, there's not much point buying the vehicle from here if you know that the service there is pretty ordinary, where around the corner it may be better. So, and the same is true of you. When people come to buy from you, they're making those judgments. Now, they may not make them consciously, but it is going on in their mind. They're assessing the product, they're assessing you, and they're assessing your business. We talk about the concept of grit. Grit is about passion and perseverance. And it's the thing that actually gets you over the line. This is the thing where you outperform your competition. You need to be passionate and persevere. We need to be passionate about what we're selling, about our ability to sell, the fact that we're in a sales role, that we're passionate about our organization, and then we need to persevere. We need to keep hanging in there. And there's some good examples there that we talk about grit and how grit gets you over the line. everybody has a talent. Everybody's brilliant at something, but it never gets to where it needs to get to unless you apply some effort. So you take talent and you put some effort into that and you develop a skill around that, and then take the skill, you apply some more effort and you achieve. That's the process of grit. And you can grow that. So, and it's critical to be up there in sales or up there as a business. It takes you to another level. We lined up 100 businesses, they're all operating at 90%. What gets you through into the last 10%, the last 5% is grit. So that combined with achievement leads to success, which in turn leads to a healthier life, emotionally at least, and of course the next stop is happiness, which is what we're all aiming to do, as we've discovered in some of the earlier modules. So module 4 is detailed in some sense, and it's the last module in our mindset modules. From here we kick off now into the skill set. But this is about getting all the thinking right before we move forward. I think you'll enjoy this module. It's one of my favorites. Every business, as you know, is two businesses. There's the one that does the work, and there's the one that sells the work. So if we can't, or won't sell the work, then it's no sales, no cash, no clients, no work, lights out. In other words, I'm amazed at the number of business people that I come across who are well educated, who appear savvy, who appear smart in terms of business, yet they are clueless when it comes to the one function in business that actually generates income, generates revenue, sales. It's one of those things that we sort of take for granted. We set up a product, we set up a service, we go into the market, and then we just know that it's just going to happen. Well, it happens for a while. In most cases, it does happen for a while. But then we run out of friends, we run out of relatives to talk to. And if you've ever read Michael Gerber's book, The E-Myth, you'll see how that transpires. And we get to a situation where we run out of friends, we run out of relatives, and then at some point we have to do some marketing, we have to do some selling, and nobody's ever really been trained in that. It's assumed it'll be okay. Well, it's never okay. So the more you can learn about basics of selling and then keep taking that to another level, the further you will go in your career and the further you'll go in business. So that's just module 4. If you have any questions, once again, just feel free to email me, send me a note. I'm happy to have a chat with you at any stage. And anyway, so far so good. Good luck, and we'll see you in module 5. Bye.